everyone, welcome back to the Diasporic Nigerian. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is a platform that's dedicated to celebrating Nigerian professionals here in Canada. And in today's NPIC interview, we have no other person than Folarin Odunayo. And Folarin is a financial expert, a small business strategist, a speaker, and multidisciplinary creative based in Toronto. His work experience spans management consulting, team leadership, advisory, and narrative storytelling production for audio. Folarin enjoys contributing to discussions around business, politics, psychology, race, diversity, and inclusion. Folarin, welcome to the Diasporic Nigerian.
Thank you. Thank you. Honestly, it's an honor. I will say I have loved watching you put these together. You said NPIC and it just kind of like rolled off. I was thinking, Nigerian profession. So that's how natural it is. So no, honestly, it's a pleasure and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So we'll just get right into the interview. And the first question that I have for you is, where's the last place you traveled to before COVID started?
Oh my God, before COVID, hilarious. It was Ottawa, January 2020.
Come on, Folarin.
I know, it's not even special. Outside of the country would be Nigeria. Outside the country would be Nigeria. I was in Lagos in November of 2018. No, I lie. In 2019, I was in Iceland.
Ooh, nice.
Yes. I went for my friend's wedding, and then I did Iceland, and then I came back to Canada, and then 6 months later, the world went to shit. Yeah.
Well, so where's the next place you want to travel to now that COVID is leaving gradually?
You know, it's so funny that I said Nigeria because I'm going to Nigeria next week.
Okay.
I guess it's not post-COVID yet.
Yeah.
But it's for a wedding. My friend's getting married, and you know, it was an opportunity to really be there for him. And so I'm glad to do that as a quick thing in and out. But where I do want to go post-COVID, when we can actually travel, like it's fun, you know, like we're going for actual vacations. I want to do somewhere in Latin America. You know, I haven't been to that part of the world before. And I've been saying I'll do Brazil, you know, around the World Cup forever ago. I was like, oh, I'll go for the World Cup. Never did. You know, my friends have been to Mexico. I couldn't make it at the time. So I think now that you know COVID has happened and like we realize we don't really have as much time as we think, I'm gonna do Latin America.
Yes, yeah. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. All right, so we're gonna get into the interview proper. And the first question that I have is, in your bio, you talk about being a financial planning expert. So what exactly is your role and what else do you do as a small business strategist?
Great question. So my career was as a financial planner, and that essentially involves helping, I want to say high net worth clients because that's a default reaction for like giving my bio at work. But I guess just generally people understand their finances and put that together in a plan for the future. It could be maybe short term, it could be medium term, it could be long term. In the context of Canada, financial planning expert means just understanding the vehicles that Canada has for you, some of the techniques, roadmaps that people have currently use to plan for their retirement and plan for their future. Also as well, like I do some kind of like asset management and strategic planning for people. So if you have assets that you want to lend against or that you are trying to grow your wealth and stuff like that, then I help build that plan for you and sort of help walk you through each step. Okay. Yeah, so from a financial planning, that's it. Small business strategy was the other thing you asked about. This one is a little bit interesting because I've done this in bits for a long time since I was in university, but helping people, you know, when you're working in your business, it's kind of hard to work on it. I don't know if you've had that term before, but oftentimes people who are small business owners are in the middle of the storm and they can't really see where they want to go or really figure out the things that they should change, the small things to be able to help them, you know, be more efficient or earn more revenue, or, you know, spend less to be able to make the same amount of money, that kind of thing. And so as a strategist, I kind of help people understand their business better, and again, use tools and resources that are available to them to make life a little bit easier in that process.
Okay, that's really dope. And from what I've also noticed, your master's program at Queen's University has been a very huge part of your life for the
Amazing.
past few months. So,
Yeah.
what are you studying?
Am I posting on Instagram a little too much about my school? So I'm doing a management innovation and entrepreneurship program at Queen's University, the Smith School of Business out in Kingston, Ontario. And you're totally correct. It has been a big part of my life over the last few months, almost a year now, to be honest. And it's been transformational, just in one, the way that it's allowed me to think differently about life and about career and about making money, about bringing value to a customer or to people's lives. And two, just the exposure to individuals who are, one, way smarter than I am, and two, just trying always to make a difference and always to do things differently, to bring value, to think really, really big. And it's just been a journey. I was in a bit of a rut when I started this program. I think I can sort of declare that and say, and it's just been really, really awesome to kind of like go through the journey of learning how to think differently, and hope. And I'm graduating in a couple of months, and hopefully I can look back then and be like, I'm a different person. Thank you.
Yes. I
Yeah.
feel like it comes across as that though. I just feel like from what I've witnessed and from what I've noticed in terms of you and what you put out and all of that, it does seem like there's been like a little bit of a change.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
I can't. I also think that like on the lows, I do think that just watching you just prosper in grad school was one of my other motivations to be like, okay, I can go to grad school too. I can pursue
Yes.
like something that I learned, because
Yeah.
it seemed like you had like an actual passion for this, and it seemed that the program was giving what it was meant to give. So for me, I wanted to make sure that I also got into a program where I was passionate about what I was studying and I could actually learn something from that. So
Amazing.
yes,
No,
thank you for
shout
sharing.
out to
You're
you.
not oversharing on LinkedIn. It's okay.
No, shout out to you, because I think grad school is a very interesting journey for people, and I'm glad that you stepped into that as well. It's I did not think I was gonna get in. I wasn't really sure that it was for me. I wasn't sure what I was gonna get out of it. Like why? And then like 10 months, I'm like, yes, I'm so glad I did this. This is exactly what I needed at the time, and I'm glad that you took that jump too. Honestly, yeah.
For sure. So I noticed you also started a podcast,
I did.
and I know that you produce a couple other podcasts on the side. So what has that process been like for you? I know you talk about audio production a lot. Has that been
Mhm.
hobby? Is that something you've always done? When did that start?
Oh my God, what a question. First of all, shameless plug. If you haven't yet, please go listen to my podcast. It's called A Word with Flow. Type it into anything right now. A Word with Flow. It's essentially like 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute shot to get you through your day, to give you a new perspective on what I'm thinking about in the moment. And I piece together content that I find inspiring, and I give you a sort of a bit of a narrative about it. The last one is about acceptance. Please go listen. But your question about what got me to podcast producing, and I guess audio as a medium for people, I don't know. I think, when I first moved to Toronto in 2017, I should say this accurately, I moved to Mississauga. Um, and then I would commute to work, an hour journey, hour and a half journey. And I had to find stuff to fill the time. And so I started listening to a lot of podcasts around that time. And so I discovered the medium as one very powerful. Like I found I would go back to it. I would retain some of the information. I'm like, oh, I heard this somewhere. Well, I was listening to a podcast. Oh, it's been 3 hours and I've listened to this same show. I've caught up on the last 10 episodes. Like, why is that such an interesting way for me to consume information? So that sort of became my thing. And then, obviously, as you know, Mary, I like to talk. so and so naturally I was like, I should start a podcast.
Uh-huh.
And this was like 2017, and that was a bit of a long journey. The first couple that I sort of worked on, obviously there's the confidence bit. Hearing your own voice and editing your own voice really sucks. I
Yeah.
cannot overstate
Yep.
how much it sucks to edit your own shit. Like it's the worst.
Agreed.
And so getting through that, and then realizing that I didn't just want to create just to create, and then realizing, oh, like I can really make something special, something good, and challenging myself to be able to do that through the series of the things that I created. And then, as you know as well, like people have just become really into podcasts. So, you probably can name five people who have their own show. And so being someone who had his own show in 2018, other people who wanted to start their own thing, were like, hey, like, I want to talk to you about this. Like, how can I go about this? What's the path of least resistance? How can I X, Y, and Z? And something about me as well, I love helping people go from like zero to idea, or rather, I should say idea to execution. Like, you've got nothing and then you have your idea, and how can we get you from like just an idea to something on paper to something recorded to something published? Like that cycle brings me joy to help somebody else do that. And so, I had talked to a bunch of people about their shows and sort of off book executive produced their shows. And then I realized, hey, this is something that I would actually like to do, and so I just start doing it officially with people on their shows. And it's something I hope to do in the future as well with other things. I've got a couple of shows that I'm working on. One of them is a true crime podcast. So if you love those shows, stuff like that, please look out for that. I'll drop some info about that, on my page and stuff. But that's a little bit about my journey in that world.
All right. We love that. I'm not a true crime fan, but if there's anyone out there, if that's your thing,
why not?
Totally. Listen, nah, I don't like things that give me any type of nightmares, so I just stay away.
So funny, me either. I can't do horror. I can't do any of that stuff. But it's a great genre. It's a great genre because people really connect with it. Women mostly, like Black women, really love their true crime. I don't know what it is. Obviously not you,
so
but
interesting.
it's so, I don't know what's, man, like some of the women that like they're just so into it, and so it's amazing. I love it.
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe my taste will change, but probably not, Also, I know you recently co-launched something called Amplifier Network. I know it's related to businesses and brands and all of that, but can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So I was working as a project coordinator with Amplifier, and the mission for the initiative is essentially to how can you support Black digital media creators who are in Canada? And support feels kind of broad, and so I can narrow it down by saying if you're an emerging creator and you are trying to get to the moon with your content, what is in place? What are the structures? What are the infrastructures that are in place? The pipelines that are in place right now in the Canadian ecosystem. Excuse me. Whoa, in the Canadian ecosystem to help you go from 5,000 monthly views to 500,000. And that could be anything from, seed funding to help you get super quality production to, connecting you with a mentor who can show you the inside sort of baseball, really, if you will, of how to get, the right partners in place, or that could be a little bit of ad spend to help you amplify your message, or it could be just a community of resources, community and resources, where community you're connected with other like-minded creators, or resources where I need to learn how to quickly edit a video because this is my first video that I've ever made. So essentially the Amplifier initiative is supposed to one, start to connect who are the Black digital media creators in Canada. That's something that we realized as well. It's not an easy space to map out. So that's really the first step. And then as it grows, it would be to continue to help people really go from where they are to take their content to the next level. Okay. So that's the mission of the initiative. Yeah.
We love that. We love that. And if we're going back to you as a small business strategist, if there was someone who is planning on starting a small business or who currently has a small business, what advice will you give them right now?
Oh my God, that's broad. I don't know. I think every small business is very specific, right? Like everybody kind of has their own what's the word I'm looking for? The problem that they're looking to solve, I think. So it would depend on what they're facing. I think the easiest thing to say is like go digital, like e-commerce is where everything is at. But I think my advice really with small businesses is like, do you understand your customer's problem truly? Like, do you actually know what the problem you're trying to solve? And if you do, then and if you don't, rather, then you're going to struggle. If you don't have a happy customer, if you don't have a clear idea of what the problem you're solving is, then you're going to struggle. But I find that question kind of broad. Sorry if I'm stumbling a little bit, but it's like with small business owners, it's just like every business is so unique that you kind of need to have a clear idea of what they're looking to do, and then you can have figure out how to help them or figure out how to move them from point A to point B.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that. So if there's any small business owners watching, you
Mhm.
can consult with Folarin and he'll be able to help you with your niche. All right. So you've been in Canada for a good number of years right now. What do you think you've learned about yourself in that whole journey?
Oh my God. I think I split my Canadian experience into like bits. There's the first year I did, a high school program in Hamilton, and then there's the next 8, which is time spent in Ottawa, growing up and really becoming a man. And this last 5, I guess, just been being in Toronto. I would say the one thing that probably connects every single phase for me is that knowledge is power, and oftentimes I think that if you're operating in a space or in a mindset where you're not seeking out information, it's going to be difficult for you to be impactful in anything that you do. And so I try to always work on the opposite of that. I'm always trying to figure out how can I learn more, and it doesn't have to be like the most transformative thing. Every small piece of information just adds to the other thing that you know, and then you can put together 3 pieces of seemingly small random information to be able to make something happen for yourself. And that's just been my mindset, particularly when I was in Ottawa. Like I would always be trying to figure out, where can I find out this, what's going on where. And then just by knowing those things, I can figure out where I want to place myself and where I can be most impactful. And I think Canada is a place that's, just encouraged that and allowed me to do that. And even moving here to Toronto as well, like when I first came here, I was just kind of like, okay, well, who's doing what and where can I find out, all that stuff. And that's really just what's helped me embed myself and I guess become successful. So that's probably one thing I'll use to connect every single phase I've been in. The next phase, when I'm a multimillionaire,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one.
For energy. We love that. We
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that. So, with all those things that you do simultaneously, when do you find time for self care and what does that look like for you?
Oh, you don't find time for self-care, you make time for self-care. And so that's something that I try to do on a daily basis. I love going for walks. I love spending time in nature. That's a great way for me to always ground and reset myself. It's really important. I love spending time with my friends, people that I love. Like it's really a rejuvenating experience for me. I get a lot of joy from it, so I prioritize that time. Now it's not easy, especially with COVID, where like we couldn't do things that were spontaneous. That was a big part of my friendships. Like, oh, what are you up to? Let's go do this. And so it's you can't do that during COVID, and so we kind of had to figure out a structure out of that. But that's a key component for me. And reconnecting with my childhood has been big, actually, in terms of self care, if I'm going to be honest. And so, what were the things in my childhood that brought me joy and I would do for endless hours without interruption? Things like music, things like drama, things like trying to make people laugh. Like, I would just want to do that.
Yeah.
And so, before adulthood calmed me down, those were the things that brought me joy. And I find that as I'm older now, reconnecting with those things have been just endless source of like re-upping on my energy. If I feel low, it's like, okay, how can I become a child again? What do I touch that can really give me energy again? Um, and candles, my girlfriend's candles, they're fun. I gotta always plug that. I belong to a poet, you know what I mean? Light up those candles and give self-care right there. I have a good time.
We love a plug. And since you've already plugged in your partner, where else can we find out more about you?
Oh, you can find out more about me at Shipwreck Flow on Instagram, on Twitter. You can follow specifically my podcast, A Word with Flow, on Instagram. And yeah, I post all about that. I do some of my writing on Medium, my word flow. You can probably sense the theme here, going through everything. But mostly, yeah, Shipwreck Flow on Instagram, and everything else is in my bio.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Diceborg Nigerian today. We definitely enjoyed talking to you, and
It's
we
a
will see
pleasure.
you somewhere on the streets.
Yeah, somewhere on the streets. I love it. We can't wait to get you back on the streets, Mary. We
I
can't
know,
wait.
I
We can't
know.
wait. Honestly, big part of TDN is getting you on the streets. We can't
I
wait.
know, I
It's
know.
been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. If I can shower you with some love, I think your dedication, your perseverance, your creativity, your commitment to the work is amazing to see. We love it. We shout you out. We dare your back. Dare your back. Honestly, I love to see it. It's creators like you that shine a light, I think, for the folks that come after us. So keep it up, and I'm more than happy to be on the platform.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome, Shorty.
All right, take care, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.